All right, Paul, where are we? What are we doing?
What I wanted to show you, you see the two pipes plumbed up, coming up out of the floor of the pool? That's 2-inch lines for floor returns. 3 things to keep clear water. Doesn't mean your water is balanced, but clear water is circulation, sanitation, filtration. Putting the floor returns in, two things we do, the reason we do that. Better circulation, which in turn has better filtration. So you're pushing water from the bottom up. If you have a heat pump or a heater, it's also better to push the heat up from the bottom up. So more circulation basically is why we put the floor returns in. The other thing, and what I'm holding in my hand, is the lid to the main drain. We use the channel drains. Couple reasons we do that as well. The channel drain itself can take more flow, more gallons per minute. You want to be able to give your pump as much water as it can take. And then we use a 2.5-inch line. That's what's stubbed up over there, which we'll walk over and take a look. The reason we use 2.5-inch all the way, it goes all the way to our pump. Again, allowing, instead of sucking out of a coffee straw, you want to be sucking out of a circus straw, a big old straw. Just think of it in that sense. So giving your pump as much water as it can. It also requires less fittings to do one single 2.5-inch line. And every time you put a fitting on a pipe, you create friction loss. You're creating friction, which is slowing down the water flow. That's why we do a 2.5 single line all the way up to the suction side of your pump. The other reason we use these channel drains is because this plaster top, this takes the pool finish on the top. So after, when it goes on top, it's very low profile. So it doesn't stick out. Many pools, there is the VGB Act, Virginia Baker Graham Act, the Anti-Entrapment Act. Your main drains have to be 3 foot apart, tied to the same line. So it's uncloggable, you can't stop it. These drains are 3 foot, so it makes a 3 foot requirement. And it's a 360-degree suction all the way around, taking larger debris. So this blends in better once it's plastered. This happens at the end of the job. So aesthetics and flow, those are the main reasons we use the channel drains. And then of course the flow returns we do as well for better circulation. And if you have a heater, better heat disbursement as well. This little white line and that little humming you hear down there, there's a sump pump buried underneath this pool. And the rock that I spoke about earlier, not only does it secure the substrate and reinforce the substrate, it allows water to pass through, groundwater and or rainwater to pass through, and then we pump it out. And this pool is fairly dry, even though we're on a retention pond. But you got a little bit of water trickling out. Even though our retention pond is probably 10 foot lower, there's still water coming out of the bottom of this pool, and this pool is about 7 foot deep. So even though we have a 3 foot difference between our retention pond and the depth of the pool, you would think it's dry, but it's not. Water can come in sideways, especially if there's clay in the ground. Clay doesn't allow the water to permeate, acts like a shelf and allows the water to come in sideways and then drain down into the pool. So those are a couple things I want to show you, is the flow returns and the style of main drain. This is made by A&A Manufacturing. There are other channel drains out there as well, but the main reason is not necessarily this particular main drain, it's the low profile for the channel drain and the flow. That's why we use the channel drains.